Next, I will show a few turns in a two-player game that's already on its way, to explain some of the actions and gameplay. As mentioned, every player competes to build what they need onto the shared sequence. This is done by adding cubes of any color you choose from the supply onto the assembly. Every turn, a player has two actions, so in a regular turn, you can add two cubes. For instance, Orange is trying to build a sequence in this card, so he plays two green cubes on his turn. Blue then plays two red ones to match her objective. Since each is trying to create a different sequence to match their private objectives, completing the one that you want will require you to manipulate the assembly. For two actions, a player can program an edit on the assembly. This means that in a regular turn, if you play an edit, you cannot do any other actions. Here, Orange has two options to fix the assembly to get the chain he wants. He could change this red cube to a green by using a substitution, or he can get one extra green here by playing a duplication. He chooses to play a duplication so Blue doesn't suspect he's trying to use part of her sequence, so he places the card and one of his available edit cubes here. The game goes on, and after a few more turns, when the assembly is full, the first half of it is transferred to the shared sequence, but every programmed edit executes first in clockwise order. One edit card is revealed at a time. In this case, Orange's duplication, so a green cube is added here. These other edits are in the second half, so they don't execute yet. After they're executed, the player's cards and edit cube are returned, but they must be placed on the spent side of the board. A player can't use spent edit card or cube until an action is used to recover all of them. Here, for instance, Blue can't replace or eliminate again until she recovers her edit cards, but she could use some of her other actions available. Orange, on the other hand, can't program any other edit after this one, since this was his last available cube. He'll have to spend an action soon to recover all of them. After the edits, the resulting chain is transferred to the end of the shared sequence. Once there, the cubes can be spliced with a matching CRISPR card. Blue plays the last two cubes that triggered the build, so it's Orange's turn. He uses his first action to splice the chain that was just added to the shared sequence onto his private sequence. He places the CRISPR card face up in the space and takes the match of the shared sequence, collapsing the rest. Now, each public objective called codon, which is a set of three nucleotides, will give you a different amount of points. So you should keep those in mind when drafting your objectives and when building your private sequence. You can't alter the order of the spliced cubes, but you may insert the chain wherever is convenient to you on your sequence, so you can build more valuable codons. After taking the sequence off, Orange will look at this chain. Based on the cubes he already has, he could build a codon here from red, blue, blue. But looking for the match from the center out, red, blue, blue would give him only 1 point. If he inserts the splice at the third position instead, he can build red, blue, green, which, looking at the board, is the most valuable codon, worth 5 points. Since claiming a codon is a free action and he can score top points with this one, he performs this action now. He uses one of his edit cubes, marks the corresponding codon, and then removes the taken cubes from his private sequence, collapsing to the left. More than one player can claim the same codon, and you can claim the same codon several times, but only the first one to claim these marked codons will get an extra action token. With his second action, Orange decides to get a new CRISPR card to have more options. To do this, he draws 3 cards and picks one of them. He looks at his other cards and discovers that this card can be combined with this new card to splice a longer sequence when it's time to do so. So he takes it and returns the other 2. As mentioned, some actions like claiming marked codons and splicing multiple cards at the same time will give you extra action tokens. These give you 1 extra action point whenever you choose to spend them, allowing you, for instance, to place 3 cubes onto the assembly in your turn, or to play 1 edit card and then perform 1 other action. When you get one of these tokens, you can use them immediately or keep them in your available space for later. You can spend any amount of extra action tokens, potentially letting you perform many different actions in your turn. It's Blue's turn. She realizes that with Orange's splice, the sequence that she thought was available became incomplete, so she will have to do something to complete it. She can use the two actions of her turn to place an insertion edit to get this cube where she wants it. She has 3 extra action tokens, so before Orange messes up with her plan, she will use 2 of the extra actions to trigger a full build, moving the card and 1 edit cube to the spend side. This action executes immediately, forcing all edits and all of the assembly to transfer to the shared sequence. Since there are no edits in the assembly now, we simply move all the cubes. Then, she will use her last extra action to splice both of these cards. Since she's splicing 2 cards at the same time, she gets 1 more extra action token, which she could potentially use to perform 1 more action, but she decides to just keep it for later. The game goes on like that, until one player places their last edit cube on a codon. This triggers the end of the game. Everybody else gets 1 more turn, and then the game is over. In the end, you will add the points from each of the codons you claimed, plus 1 point for each CRISPR card that you spliced, whether by itself or combined, plus 1 point for each 2 of your leftover cubes or unused extra actions. The winner is the player with the most points.